But, you know, when you have a very beatable champion in George Kambosos, and that's, again, no disrespect. The guy did what he had to do against Teofimo Lopez. But George Kambosos is a very, very beatable champion. And, you know, it was clear he wasn't even going to be able to make the adjustments in the rematch, you know? And he wasn't, you know?
At this point, people like Paulie Malignaggi represents at least 70% of the people in boxing. A lot of what they talk about and what they base off trying to take away and detract from Devin Haney, it's not based off of anything athletic. It's not based off achievements. It's not based off accolades. It's not based off beating the best. It's not based off having the most belts. All their logic is based on how they personally feel either about the individual or a group of individuals. And that's basically what boxing is majority made of. Believe it or not, the majority of boxing is made up with people like Paulie Malignaggi and the way he thinks. This is why I say be careful of who you think that you're talking boxing with, because you might be talking to a Paulie Malignaggi, okay? Somebody who don't care nothing about the points that you bring up. Somebody don't care nothing about the achievements that these boxers, achieve. It's all based on how they personally feel inside. Something in their past, something that has to do with their history and how they were raised or lack of being raised, that ultimately determines how they want to credit or discredit these fighters. And at this point, Devin Haney has put a lot of people in a position where they have to eat their own words, because Devin Haney had a lot of slack and got a lot of slack from how he received his belt. When the truth of the matter is, Devin Haney shouldn't have gotten slack about how he received his belt. We should have given the person slack who put him in a position to receive a belt in that manner. Isn't it funny how we talk about the person who challenged a champion and the champion chose to give up the belt to the challenger, and yet we want to dog the challenger about how he obtained his belt, but we have nothing to say about the champion who willingly gave up the belt to avoid the challenger. That just goes to show you how ass backwards boxing is in its thinking, at least when it comes to certain fighters, as we know. And we just in a position now where a lot of people, they got to eat crow, and Paulie Malignaggi is one of them. How in one hand you're going to say that George Kambosos is not a good fighter, and he wasn't a high level fighter, and you didn't favor him on winning, but yet you bet against him when it was Kambosos versus Devin Haney? That doesn't make no sense. So on one end, you're counting on this so-called fighter that you're saying is not nothing special to beat this special talent and Devin Haney. Then when Devin Haney does it, then you want to discredit the fighter that you favored to beat Devin Haney when he doesn't win. It doesn't make no sense, but you're going to get a lot of people moving and shaking like this because, like I said, Paulie Malignaggi represents at least 70% of how boxing fans think, act, and the way that they carry on. The way that they have went out of their way to basically paint Devin Haney as a villain, to discredit Devin Haney, and even as an undisputed champion, to label him as somebody who would even get close to ducking Vasily Lomachenko when Vasily Lomachenko had ample opportunity to give you guys a fight that you claim that you're interested in now, back then, and he didn't do it. Nobody had anything to say. And then when they think that Devin Haney won't give him a shot, then it's all of a sudden, Devin Haney's scared and Devin Haney was running. Well, they should have had that attitude when Devin Haney was in a challenge position, in the mandatory position, wanting to fight the champion. But those people were nowhere around. And those people are just like the ones that you see on your screen right now. They're just like Paulie Malignaggi. Now it's funny because they seem to be in a frenzy, because now what they said that they want, they all of a sudden figured out that they might not want it. See, when Devin Haney was in a challenger position, they didn't want him to get a shot. It's bigger this, well, how come you guys want to see the fight, but you didn't want to see it then? The reason why they didn't want to see the fight then is because they don't want somebody like Devin Haney that looks like Devin Haney to be in the position that he's in right now. So they will always advocate that those fights don't happen. Okay. Then when Vasily Lomachenko is basically left ass out, he basically has nothing to offer. His career is basically hanging on if Devin Haney is going to show him some attention. Now these guys want this fight. Now they say, oh, they want this, they want that. Okay, but Devin Haney is a champion's champ. You guys say that this guy's the best. You guys say that this is the fight you want to see. Okay, let me go ahead and pursue that. Now the funny thing is watching them flip-flop back and forth, because at first they didn't want to fight. Now that Devin Haney's in a position of power, now they want to fight. Now that Devin Haney has listened to what the masses is saying, and he said, okay, you guys want this fight? I'm going to give you this fight. Now they're back on, oh, I'm not too sure that Lomachenko's ready. Now Bob Arum doesn't think he's ready. And what you think people like Paulie Malignaggi is thinking right now? You think they want to see that fight like they do? No, because now they're right back to square one, okay? They have built Vasily Lomachenko up to be some mythological character, something that he never was. A good fighter, yes, but nothing like the Alis and all this other stuff that they're trying to make him to be. Now that they're not too sure about Vasily Lomachenko due to his performance against Jermaine Ortiz, which I'm not going to take away from Ortiz. I'm not going to say Vasily Lomachenko is slowing down, he's getting old. Jermaine Ortiz was just a good game opponent, which was a good fight, by the way. You know what I'm saying? For both guys. That was an entertaining fight, and I really did like that fight. But now they're saying, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Now all of a sudden, Devin Haney seems to be too big. Now we're back to calling Vasily Lomachenko a little guy. Now he's too small for 135. Okay? All this other stuff. Now he's back to being too small again. So now they're back to being scared. Now they're back to the same position they was when Devin Haney was the mandatory. Okay? So now that you guys couldn't paint the narrative of Devin Haney being a ducker, and he went exactly to where the problem is, or where y'all say the ducking is going to start, and let it know that he wants that fight, now you guys are not sure you want the fight anymore. Make your mind up. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all about not seeing somebody who looks like Devin Haney be in that position. And the question I got to ask you is, why not? Hasn't he carried himself exactly like what you guys wanted out of these boxers? Hasn't he done all the stuff that we said we wish these other boxers would do? Didn't he take a low ball offer? Didn't he fly to a man's backyard twice? Didn't he do all the stuff? Didn't he fight all the people that nobody wanted to fight and that didn't want to fight each other? Didn't he do that? Didn't he go around and clean up the mess that Vasily Lomachenko made by ducking him? Didn't he clear up the whole undisputed situation? We wouldn't have no undisputed situation or undisputed champion and have it be evidently clear if Devin Haney didn't have the mentality and the attitude he had about his career and about himself. So the only reason why even Lomachenko even has a second chance, even though this is like his third and his fourth chance as becoming undisputed, is because the way that Devin Haney has handled himself as a champion. Which leaves people like Paulie Malignaggi basically looking dumb, because now they basically have to be exposed and looked at for basically what they are and what they have been doing. You have been going out of your way to discredit this man for no reason when he has done everything that actually should be championed, that actually should be complimented, that actually should be praised, that actually should be highlighted. And they can't stand that Devin Haney can walk in this light. They can't stand that Devin Haney can walk around here like a real champion. They can't stand that Devin Haney conducts himself like a real champion. They can't stand that Devin Haney ain't ducking no smoke. They can't stand that Devin Haney is not a franchise champion. They can't stand that the man that they painted as being this great fighter over everybody else is now put back into a hot seat where, guess what? He's now going to have to live up and prove all that stuff you guys have said about him all along. And Devin Haney is the one that's going to show you that you guys have been overzealous. You guys have been overhyping this man. And Devin Haney is the one that can expose that you guys been hyping this guy up from day one. So just like the mandatory position, y'all didn't want to see him to get this shot. And since y'all bitched and cried and y'all have painted yourself into a corner, now Devin Haney wants that fight with Vasily Lomachenko, just like he always has. Now you guys like, hold on. Well, if he beats Vasily Lomachenko, we're legitimately going to have to give him his credit. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to prove that we've been overhyping this guy the whole time. So now you guys, now y'all don't want to fight. You guys can't make your mind up at the end of the day. But this is a cautionary tale. The next time you run across a great European fighter, it's best to judge that fighter at the level he's at. Quit trying to overhype him. Quit trying to overshoot him. Quit trying to make him the best thing since sliced bread, because it's human nature to want to test what you're saying. If you're saying this is the best, we want to see if this is the best. If you say this is the fastest car, put it up against this car and see if it can beat this car. This way we'll know who's the best. So you guys don't want to be held to the words that you say. And that's basically what this whole thing is about. That's basically why this little Lomachenko stuff has sprouted back up. Now he's back to being too small and all this other stuff, because now comes the time where Vasily Lomachenko is going to have to live up to all that legendary status that y'all gave him. And when he beats him, guess what? You're going to have to give that man all his damn credit. But keep in mind, they are setting the scene for Vasily Lomachenko to be old, for Vasily Lomachenko to be rusty, and Vasily Lomachenko to be small. None of that is going to count, because if he had a good showing against Jermaine Ortiz, none of y'all would be saying none of this stuff. So leave your energy exactly where it's at. Let this fight happen. And when this kid butchers this guy, okay, we're going to see how quick or how non-quick y'all are to get this man credit. And when that credit don't come, don't open your mouth, talk about you want to see the best fight the best, and you want to see this fight, this fight, because at the end of the day, we know what it is with fighters and fans. Well, basically with fans like this. You guys just want to put these guys in a position to lose because you hate to see them in a position of winning. You hate to see them in a position of victory. You hate to see them in a position where they're being admired. You hate to see them in a position where they are getting appreciated. And a lot of boxing fans know it. Some try to deny it. Some trying to say it doesn't exist. But after this, you're going to be left with no choice but giving this man a credit, because even as the undisputed, unquestionably the best lightweight in the division, he's still getting disrespected as if he hasn't achieved one damn thing. And I'm going to end it with this. It makes it pretty hard to believe that you want to see Gervonta Tank Davis fight the best, when truthfully, you just want to try to put him in the same position, in the same pickle that you try to put Devin Haney in. But in the end, God don't like ugly, and black is talented, especially in this sport. You can live with it. You can get mad. You can get upset. You know what I'm saying? You can pull your hair out, or you can keep making up these lies about these fighters, because at the end, you can't fight for them. The talent is always going to speak at the end. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Vane, I'm out.